All right, let's dive into something a little spooky today.
Oh, sounds fun.
Yeah, cursed tombs,
Mm.
disturbing the dead and all of that.
Yeah, those stories always kind of send a shiver down your spine.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
is there something to them?
Well, I mean, every culture seems to have them.
Right.
So I guess they must be tapping into uh, some universal fear
Exactly.
about death and the afterlife and all that.
So we've got a ton of sources on this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some historical accounts, archaeology findings, and of course, the legends.
Oh, cool. So are we going to try and separate fact from fiction
Exactly.
and maybe figure out why these stories, endure?
Yeah, why they fascinate us.
Right.
So should we start with King Tut?
Actually, how about we start a little closer to home?
Okay.
Let's talk about Shakespeare.
Shakespeare.
Yeah, you wouldn't think a literary genius would need to worry about curses.
True. I mean, what's the story there?
Well, he's buried in that church,
Uh-huh.
the Holy Trinity Church in Stratford-upon-Avon.
Okay.
And right on his grave, there's this inscription. It says, "Cursed be he that moves my bones."
Whoa, really?
Yeah. Grave robbing was a big deal back then.
Oh, right, of course.
So maybe he or his family
Mm-hmm.
wanted to, deter any thieves.
Makes sense. Protect the legacy, even in death.
Exactly.
But was there like an actual incident? Something that makes this a cursed tomb story?
Well, in 2016, archaeologists did some scans of his grave.
Okay.
They used ground-penetrating radar.
Hmm.
And guess what?
What?
They found evidence that suggests his skull might be missing.
No way. So someone ignored the curse?
Maybe.
Went for the ultimate prize.
It's possible. And there's even an 18th century story about a group of thieves stealing Shakespeare's skull.
Wow, really? So it could be true.
Yeah. We might never know for sure, but it definitely adds to the mystery.
For sure. But you know what's interesting to me?
Right.
This curse, it kind of reflects a real historical anxiety, right?
Mm,
Grave robbing. It wasn't just spooky legends, it was a practical concern.
you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And it shows how much value people placed on remains.
Yeah.
Partly for sentimental reasons, but also the fear of what might happen if they, fell into the wrong hands.
Okay, so we've got a famous playwright, a chilling inscription, and a possibly missing skull.
Pretty good start.
Yeah. All right, let's move from England to ancient Greece.
Okay.
I read about the Well of Kerameikos in Athens.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a single tomb, though, right?
No, it's not.
What is it?
It was this place where ordinary Athenians would put curse tablets.
Curse tablets.
Yeah, like these thin sheets of lead.
Huh.
And they'd inscribe curses on them,
Oh, wow.
directed at specific people.
So not like grand tombs protecting kings or pharaohs.
Nope, just everyday folks settling scores.
Really? So what kind of curses are we talking about?
All sorts. Curses on romantic rivals, curses on business competitors, you name it.
Ooh, give me some examples.
Like juicy details. Okay, so there's this one on a boxer hoping he'll lose his next fight.
Oh, wow.
There's another one targeting a group of prostitutes,
Oh,
asking the gods to make them unattractive to customers.
wow. That's brutal.
It is. And then there's this one,
Mm.
aimed at a woman named Glyca.
Okay.
And it specifically targets her, let's just say, her feminine attributes, wishing for them to lose their appeal.
Okay. Maybe a little too much information there.
Sorry. But, it shows that some things never change.
Right. Jealousy, revenge, petty squabbles.
Exactly.
Human nature.
And these tablets give us this fascinating window into how ancient Athenians viewed justice
Oh, interesting.
and fate and the power of the divine.
Right. So even their petty disputes were brought before the gods.
Seems so.
It's like, their anxieties and how they tried to control their lives.
Hmm.
Okay, so we've seen curses for protection, for revenge.
Uh-huh.
What else is there?
Well, sometimes what seems like a curse,
Yeah.
it turns out to have a totally natural explanation.
Oh, okay.
Take King Casimir IV of Poland.
King Casimir, right.
So in 1973, a team of conservationists, 12 of them,
Yeah.
they opened his tomb in Wawel Cathedral in Krakow.
Uh-huh.
And sadly, 10 of them died within a couple of years.
Oh, no.
Sounds like a classic curse, right?
It does. So what happened? Was there an inscription or something?
No inscriptions. But they did find something else.
Oh.
Aspergillus flovus?
Aspergillus what?
Aspergillus flovus. It's a type of mold.
Mold.
Yeah, it's really dangerous. It produces these toxins
Yeah.
called mycotoxins. They can cause all sorts of health problems. especially respiratory illnesses.
So wait, the conservationists weren't killed by a curse, but by mold?
Exactly. It seems they inhaled these mold spores
Oh,
while they were working in the tomb.
that's awful.
Yeah, it's a tragic reminder that sometimes the most rational explanation, is the right one.
Absolutely, but it makes you think how many other cursed tombs
Yeah.
might have similar explanations.
That's a great question.
Okay, so we've got a literary curse,
Uh-huh.
vengeful tablets,
Yeah,
deadly mold.
right.
Now we got to talk about the big one,
Oh, yeah.
King Tut.
The Curse of the Pharaoh, a classic.
Right. Disturbing his tomb and facing the wrath of the pharaoh.
It really captures our fascination with the idea that, disturbing the dead is a bad idea.
Sure. And it's not just a legend, right? There were some
Yes.
weird events after they opened his tomb.
There were. Yeah, so, right after the discovery,
Uh-huh.
Lord Carnarvon,
Yeah.
the guy who financed the whole thing,
Right.
he died.
Oh, no.
Yeah, from an infected mosquito bite.
Really?
Sounds kind of mundane, right?
Yeah.
But at the time, people were like, oh, the curse.
Right.
The curse got him.
The newspapers must have loved that.
Oh, they went crazy.
Right.
Headlines about the curse of the Pharaoh.
I bet.
And it just captured the public's imagination.
Of course, it's like a movie.
Right.
Everyone's talking about curses and, the dangers of messing with the dead.
Yeah, it was a sensation.
And it didn't stop there, right?
Nope.
What else happened?
Others involved in the excavation,
Mm-hmm.
they started dying too,
Really?
under mysterious circumstances.
Like what?
Sudden illnesses,
Oh, wow.
freak accidents,
No way.
even suicides.
It's like anyone who went near the tomb was doomed.
It seemed that way, yeah.
Did anyone try to explain it?
Like rationally.
Yeah.
Well, what about Howard Carter?
The guy who discovered the tomb?
Yeah.
Did he believe in the curse?
He called it all Tommy rot.
Tommy rot.
Yeah, basically he thought it was nonsense, just
Mm.
coincidence and the media blowing things out of proportion.
Okay.
But however,
What
even Carter had a weird experience.
do you mean?
Shortly before his own death,
Okay.
years later,
Yeah?
he claimed he saw a jackal.
A jackal?
Yeah, near his home.
So weird about that.
Well, in ancient Egypt,
Yeah.
the jackal was the symbol of Anubis,
And who's Anubis?
the god of the dead.
Oh, spooky.
Even if you're a skeptic, that's kind of creepy.
It adds a little fuel to the fire.
For sure. So what's the final verdict?
Curse or coincidence?
Yeah.
People still debate it.
Really?
Some researchers think that bacteria or fungi in the tomb,
Uh-huh.
they might have caused some of the illnesses,
Okay.
but that doesn't really explain,
A freak accident.
yeah, or the timing of some of the deaths.
So it's still a mystery.
Pretty much.
It's fascinating, though,
It is.
how these ancient curses still have this hold on us.
Yeah, they tap into something deep, don't they?
Yeah, like a fear of the unknown. Like
Mhm.
what happens after we die,
And whether we can really control our own destinies.
Okay, so Tut's curse is obviously super famous.
Yeah, one of the most well-known.
But are there any curses with, political implications?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, really?
Let's go to Japan for this one.
Okay.
There's this rebellious samurai
Uh-huh.
whose curse is connected to modern-day Tokyo.
A cursed samurai.
Yeah.
All right, I'm listening. His name was Taira no Masakado,
Taira no Masakado.
a powerful samurai warrior from the 10th century.
Okay.
He rebelled against the imperial court.
Old move.
He was captured and executed.
Oh, wow.
But that's not the end of the story.
There's more.
Oh, yeah. So legend has it
Yeah.
that after they executed him,
Uh-huh.
they put his head on display,
Right.
but it refused to decompose.
What?
And get this.
Yeah.
It's said to have flown around, searching for its body.
A flying talking head.
It's a wild story, right?
Straight out of a horror movie.
Eventually, they buried the head
Okay.
in what is now Tokyo's Otemachi district.
Okay.
And the belief is that if you disturb his grave,
Yeah.
bad things will happen.
Did anyone try?
There were attempts to relocate his shrine,
Uh-huh.
and both times, strange things happened.
What do you mean?
Like in 1923,
Yeah.
they were going to build a government building on the site,
Okay.
but there were accidents
Oh, no.
and deaths.
During the construction.
Yeah, and then after World War II,
Uh-huh.
the American occupation forces tried to demolish the shrine. They had to stop.
Why?
All these unexplained mishaps kept happening.
So they just backed down.
They did.
It seems like Masakado's curse had some real consequences.
It did. And even in death, he was defying authority. His legend became this symbol of resistance
Onions.
against those in power.
Wow. Wow, so these curses can get tied up with politics and power struggles.
Absolutely.
It's like a battle of wills that goes on for centuries.
It is, and it shows the power of belief.
Yeah.
How these figures from the past can still influence us.
Okay, so we've got a vengeful samurai haunting Tokyo.
Yeah.
What else is out there?
From Tokyo, let's head to Scotland,
Okay.
to the grave of Seath Mor,
Seath Mor, who's that?
a medieval Scottish chieftain.
Okay.
His grave is covered by these 5 stones.
Stones.
Yeah, and they're supposedly cursed.
Cursed stones, that's a new one. What's the story?
Each stone is said to have a specific curse attached to it.
So if you move a stone,
Bad things happen.
like what?
Well, there are stories about people who moved the stones,
Uh-huh.
and then, bad luck followed.
Give me an example.
This one English footman,
Okay.
he tossed a stone into a river,
Mm-hmm.
and then a few days later, he drowned.
Oh, no.
And then there was this journalist
Yeah.
who lifted one of the stones.
Okay.
He died in a car accident.
Jeez, so don't touch the stones.
Yeah, pretty much.
Did they do anything to protect the grave?
In 1983, they put a mort safe over it.
A mort safe. What's that?
It's like this heavy iron cage to
Oh,
stop people from messing with the stones.
smart move.
Yeah, some things are best left alone.
But it's interesting, though, how these curses often have specific consequences.
Yeah, it's like a supernatural contract.
Right. You break the rules, you pay the price.
Exactly. It's a way of enforcing respect for the dead.
And for their final resting places.
Definitely.
So we've got protective curses, vengeful curses, curses tied to politics, and now curses with specific consequences.
Right, it seems like there's a curse for every occasion.
Exactly. So are there any other patterns we're seeing?
Well, a lot of these stories,
Yeah.
they come from this fear of the unknown.
Especially the fear of what happens after death.
Right.
Like, we can't control it.
And these curses, they offer a glimpse into that world,
The world beyond.
the one we can't fully understand.
It's like we're trying to impose order on death.
Yeah, to control the uncontrollable.
And the curses, they're like a warning system.
Right. Don't cross this line
Respect the boundaries.
between the living and the dead.
And if you do cross that line,
Well, you might face the consequences.
bad luck, illness, even death.
It makes you wonder
But,
if there's something more to these curses than just superstition.
like, what are you thinking?
Could there be some kind of energy,
Hmm?
some residual power
Yeah.
that lingers in these places?
It's a question that has been around forever.
It has.
We can try to explain it with science.
Yeah, use logic and reason.
But there will always be those mysteries
The ones that just defy explanation,
that make us wonder.
if there are forces at work.
That we just don't understand.
Exactly.
Yeah, it really makes you think, like, what if there's more to it than we know?
Right. Like, what if these stories are trying to tell us something?
So we've talked about Shakespeare, King Tut, those cursed stones in Scotland. Got any other chilling tales for us?
Oh, tons. But let's wrap up our journey with a trip to Central Asia,
Central Asia, okay.
to the tomb of a conqueror named Tamerlane.
Tamerlane, remind me, who was that again?
Oh, he was this 14th century Turco-Mongol conqueror,
Okay.
built a massive empire across Persia and Central Asia.
Wow, a real empire builder.
Yeah, but he was also known for being super ruthless.
So, a fearsome warrior with a cursed tomb.
You got it.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
His tomb is called the Gori Emir Mausoleum.
Gori Emir Mausoleum.
Yeah, it's in Samarkand, Uzbekistan.
Okay.
Beautiful example of Islamic architecture.
Hmm.
But it's also said to be protected by this curse.
What kind of curse? Spill the tea.
So the inscription on his tomb,
Yeah.
it supposedly warned that whoever opens it will unleash an invader more terrible than Tamerlane himself.
Whoa, that's a serious threat.
It is, right.
So did anyone open it?
Well, in 1941, right at the start of World War II,
Yeah.
a team of Soviet archaeologists decided to open it.
Talk about bad timing.
Right, like the world's on the brink of war.
Yeah.
And they decided to open this tomb with a warning about unleashing a terrible invader.
What happened?
Well, just a few days later, Nazi Germany invaded the Soviet Union.
Operation Barbarossa?
That's the one. Millions died.
It's like Tamerlane's curse came true.
That's what a lot of people thought at the time.
The timing is just too perfect.
Yeah, it was just super eerie.
So the Soviets, did they think the crest was real?
I mean, it's hard to say for sure, but the story definitely spread.
Adding to all the fear and uncertainty.
Exactly. It fed right into the anxieties of the time.
So what happened to Tamerlane's remains?
Okay, so as the war went on, the Soviets started pushing back against the Nazis.
Okay.
And in late 1942,
Yeah.
they reburied Tamerlane's remains.
They did.
Yeah, with full Islamic rites.
Interesting.
And get this.
What?
Shortly afterward, the Soviets won a major victory at the Battle of Stalingrad.
Wait, hold on. So they reburied the remains and the tide of the war turned.
It makes you wonder, right?
Are you suggesting that reversing the curse helped the Soviets win the war?
I mean, it's a great story,
It is.
but historians aren't so sure about that inscription.
What do you mean?
Some think it might have been added later,
Later.
like maybe after the war.
To add to the legend.
Exactly. People love a good story.
They do?
But even if the inscription wasn't real, the timing of the whole thing, it still captured people's imaginations.
For sure.
It shows how these ancient tales, they can take on new meaning, especially in times of crisis.
They connect with our deepest fears and anxieties.
Absolutely. So we've explored all these cursed tombs.
From Shakespeare to Tamerlane.
From England to Japan to Central Asia.
After all of this, what do you think?
Do I believe in cursed tombs?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough question.
It is. But honestly, I think the most fascinating thing is the power of belief itself.
The power of belief.
Yeah, like if you believe in a curse, it can really affect how you act.
And how you interpret things.
Right, like even if it's just bad luck, you might see it as confirmation of the curse.
It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly.
And these stories remind us that history is full of mysteries, right?
For sure.
Things we can't fully explain.
Even with science and logic.
There's always that little bit of the unknown.
That keeps us wondering.
So what's the takeaway for our listeners?
Maybe it's this. Keep an open mind. Explore the world with curiosity.
Yeah, be open to the possibility that there's more out there than meets the eye.
And who knows, maybe there's a local legend waiting to be uncovered right in your own backyard.
That's a great point. Every town has its own stories, right? An old cemetery, a creepy house, a landmark with a strange tale attached to it.
Do some digging. Talk to the older folks in your community. See what you can find.
And if you happen to stumble upon a tomb with a warning inscription...
Admire it from a distance.
Right, don't tempt fate.
Some things are best left undisturbed.
Well, folks, that's our deep dive into the world of cursed tombs.
We hope you enjoyed the journey.
We explored ancient curses, traveled the globe, and maybe learned a little bit about ourselves along the way.
Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical.
And hey, maybe sleep with the lights on tonight, just in case.